Welcome to the webinar. So pleased you could join us. We're hoping to provide you with a window on what we're doing in Oxfordshire and what it's like to work for Oxfordshire County Council. I'm the Deputy Director for Children's Social Care, and I'm really proud that I work within a team of fantastic practitioners and managers who deliver high quality social work to children and families. There are very few authorities who can claim an overall judgment of good from Ofsted for over a decade, and that's our proud claim. I don't want you to think that Oxfordshire's a soft option, full of dreaming spires and affluent communities. It isn't. It's a fascinating, diverse county. It's full of great people working together to address some big challenges. Social work here is as stretching as anywhere, but we're on an exciting new journey with a new model of service, which is going to take our service from good to outstanding. And we have looked around the country and found through what the best evidence tells us in terms of practice models. And what we've done is we've looked at both Hertfordshire and their family safeguarding model, and we've also looked at Hampshire and their CAST model, both very, very good authorities. And what we've created in Oxfordshire is something called Family Solutions Plus. So it builds on our existing Family Solutions service that works with children in need, children on child protection plans, and children who might be entering the care system. But we want to take our service to another level now. So we're introducing some new strands of work. So we're integrating our assessments into our intervention teams so that we can have that continuity of a relationship between a social worker and a family, because our work is all about relationship-based work. We'll be adopting motivational interviewing skills, which we're giving really thorough training to everyone on, and we are prioritising direct practice between social workers and families with support from a range of specialists, and spending less time on screen, less time recording, and more time spent with families. And we're achieving that by changing the way that we record, and we're changing it by reducing our caseloads, by investing in our model. So our county council has agreed to spend an extra £5 million in our service to increase the number of workers, and that's why we're interested in you, but also to bring in adult practitioners into our teams to help those families with problems of substance misuse, mental health and domestic abuse, so that you can really truly work as a team with a family, working together within a restorative approach. So I'm not going to say much more than that. I'm now going to hand over to Annalise, who's going to tell us a bit about, she's our principal social worker, she's absolutely fantastic, and she's going to tell us about the impact of the new model on practice across Oxfordshire. I hope you enjoy it.
Hi. Thanks, Hannah. Yeah, I'm Annalise and I'm the Principal Social Worker. No pressure. Thanks, Hannah. So, yeah, we're really pleased to welcome you to this webinar and to Oxfordshire as our family. We are one big family and we really, really value our staff and our teams. And I think, you know, I love working for Oxfordshire. We really care about each other and we really care about our staff, and we think that they do an absolutely amazing job day in, day out. But ultimately, we also really care about our children and families and wanting to make sure that we provide the highest quality support for them, because that ultimately is all why we're here. As Hannah's already alluded to, relationships really are at the heart of everything we do. We want restorative practice to lead what we do in terms of our work with each other, but also with our children and families. And we really aspire to work with our children and families, providing high support and high challenge to help make changes. We are really committed to building on the strengths of our own teams, and as Hannah's described, you know, we are building on strengths already, and we want to go from strength to strength ourselves, but also build on the strengths of our families to help them find their own motivation to change by really listening to them, to actually really understanding their lived experience and understanding the trauma that maybe they have experienced as well. We really care about the quality of our work with children and families, and want that to be of the highest possible standard, and we really are committed to doing that on a day-to-day basis. And we really hope that our new family safeguarding / family solutions plus model will really enable practitioners to do that, and will really enable our children and families to get the right support. We're really keen to make sure that all of the needs of the family are met, and we hope that our practitioners who are adult facing will enable us to provide that support, as well as enabling our staff to really focus on children, and to be working with the wider family to make sure that practice really does change, and that we really are able to improve the outcomes for our children and families. And we really hope that you will come and join us on this exciting journey, which has so many opportunities, which we're all really excited to embrace. So I am going to hand over to Anna.
Hi, so I'm Anna, and I'm newly qualified social worker. I've been with Oxfordshire for about 9-10 months now, so I'm quite the way through my first year. And I started at Oxfordshire because I graduated from Oxford Brookes University, and I knew that Oxfordshire was rated as good. I've heard really good reports. I was looking at different local authorities, and I just felt like Oxfordshire was the most sort of secure way forward. I remember in my interviews just feeling so warmed and welcomed. And so since then I've been working for the Abingdon Family Solutions Plus team, as it's now called. And I work with children under child need plans, child protection plans, and also that are going under court proceedings. It's a busy job, but it's a satisfying job. It's one that is really rewarding. And I think that just throughout it all, I've been talking to Delia earlier about how I've been finding it and what my day-to-day work looks like. And obviously things are a little bit different at the moment with the coronavirus and things going about. So we've been working from home. We've been undertaking more virtual visits, but then now we're starting to transition back into undertaking more and more physical visits with the children and families that we work with. And I've absolutely loved every second of my job, despite the busyness of it all. It's just wonderful being able to work with the children and families who are in all different situations. And our team is just very put together. I have wonderful supervision with my supervisor, who's been supported the whole way through. I've learned an incredible amount that I never thought that I would even begin to learn when I first started this job. And I think throughout lockdown we've been able to stay quite united as a team, and we've been having regular meetings, but also now we're starting to go for more catch-ups and coffees throughout the week as well, which is something that I think that you don't necessarily get everywhere that you go. So to be able to be supported not only by managers on a real personal basis, but also by the colleagues in my team, it's been wonderful. But hopefully if we come to the end and anyone has any more questions on sort of the day-to-day working of the role or what it's like working frontline, then I'll be able to be there and answer that. So I think now I'm passing over to Johnny.
Thanks, Anna. I must say, I wish I was as articulate as you are, Anna, after 9 months in the job, but fantastic to hear such a great start to your career, but thank you. Yeah, hi, my name's Johnny Bradish. I'm one of the team managers in one of the central area teams here in Oxford. I'm going to speak briefly about what I think makes OCC a great place to work. A little bit about me. So I joined OCC last year in December 2019, having worked in another local authority where family safeguarding was already operational. Now, as a resident in Oxford, it was a no-brainer for me to move into the service as soon as I heard that OCC were going to be launching the same model. Now, it would be really easy for me to tell you what I think is great about OCC and working here, but I thought you might be interested in just what my team would say if the same question was put to them. So in preparing for today, I did a quick whip round from my team this morning to see what they would say. about working in OCC. So some of the things coming from the team themselves: a committed workforce, positive leadership at all levels, good management support and manageable caseloads, a county full of diversity and communities full of soul, supportive and reflective supervision, as we've heard from Anna, where career progression is encouraged, some great office locations in the centre of the city, some decent annual leave, which people will be happy about, and an organisation that listens more than they talk, which people really value. So that's a bit about the team. But for me, and from me, in the short time that I've been here, I would identify 3 key aspects what I think makes OCC great. Firstly, I believe that OCC is forward thinking. Now, an obvious example of that is in OCC's introduction of this new working model, but OCC has been brave in taking the opportunity to also bring the assessment aspect of the service into FSP, with that view to avoid unnecessary handovers and changes of workers. Now, that's going to hugely benefit the families that we work with and the children and young people. Secondly, I think OCC is prepared to do what is right, often seen in the small things that make a big impact. But to me, OCC is openly aware of the areas for improvement within the service, but they're constantly looking to add positive value to the children and families that we work with and the families within Oxfordshire. I've seen this for myself in participating in partnership reviews of situations and where we've been able to drive improvements for individuals, but also for communities as a result. So always prepared to do what is right. And finally, from me, I really value that OCC has an approachable and accessible leadership team. Now, why is that important to me at my level? Well, modelling core values that connects the senior leadership team all the way through to the frontline workers really allows us to deliver a consistent service. And I get to support that and influence that in my supervision with staff and in the team meetings, which are parts of the job that I really, really enjoy and are really important to me. So that's me coming to an end. Those are 3 small examples of the core values that for me makes OCC a great place to work. That's it from me, and I'm going to hand over to Delia.
Thank you, Johnny. So I'm Delia Mann, I'm the Head of Service for Family Solutions in the Central area. So I don't know what more testament I can do, hearing from Anna as a newly qualified worker and her experience in Oxfordshire, and then hearing from Johnny in terms of that leadership that I hope you saw shining through in terms of how he both holds the children and families that the teams work with, but also how valued his team are. By him. And we all know, for those of us in this workforce, that we would be nothing without the teams and their commitment and energy, especially during COVID. I am constantly humbled by the work that they are doing day in, day out to protect the children of Oxfordshire. I was asked to talk about a bit why I came to Oxfordshire. So those of you that understand accents will know that I don't hail from these shores. I'm originally from New Zealand. And I arrived here when I was 23, and I'm just about to turn 50, so I'm over a quarter of a century in this country. I arrived in Oxfordshire with a small baby, and I had trained as a social worker in London, but I had a career break, and I looked for opportunities to go back into the workforce, and I became a children's centre manager. Back in the Sure Start days. I then moved into an early intervention team we're called Face It, which worked in an early intervention manner within the South. Then moved into a service manager role in early intervention service in the central area. And more recently, probably 3 years ago actually now, became a head of service within the statutory team. So I came back to statutory, having been away while I had my children. I'm immensely proud of the work that we do in Oxfordshire, and I think, a bit like Johnny has talked about, we have been on a process and a journey in terms of improvement. We are a good authority, but we know where our areas for improvement are. I spent this afternoon talking with a practitioner and doing a good practice audit, which was great because it connects me back to the service, but also back into what children's lived experience was, and looking at the kind of tools we're using, thinking about the motivational interviewing that Hannah alluded to, and I can see it alive within the teams. So immensely excited about the next steps that Oxfordshire are taking, and like Annalise said, would really look forward to welcoming you into Oxfordshire. And I think at this point I hand back to Hannah in terms of the Q&A.
Before we move into Q&A though, we need to talk to Alex about how we recruit. So I think Alex is just going to talk about the recruitment process and then we'll come to Q&A. So sorry to change the order there. Okay, but we mustn't miss out on Alex.
Thank you, Hannah. It's really simple and won't take long to explain. All of our jobs are available on our website. You can find them by searching, and there's also lots of information on our Children's Services landing page about what it's like to work at OCC, Oxfordshire, and also the benefits and things like that. So there's lots of information on there. The job adverts that we've just put out recently for our new Family Solutions Plus vacancies are available on the website, and we've tried to make them as comprehensive as possible. So there's lots of information on there, but if you are trying to apply and you see something that you can't see the answer to, then get in touch. There is an email address on each of the adverts too. And then it's just a case of clicking apply now, and you can apply with your LinkedIn profile, which is really quick if you've got one of those, or you can upload your CV and add a few key bits of information, and then your application will come through to us. And that's really all there is to it. So we can go back to the Q&A, I think now, Hannah.
Okay, so we're now opening our question and answer session for anybody that has any questions for us. So I'll open the Q&A function. Okay. So we're asking people to enter questions in the Q&A box. At the moment, I don't have any questions. If you do have anything, very happy to answer it here and now. Okay. Okay, so there's one here, which is, oops, I can't see.
Hannah, it's would you be open to positions for people who are doing a return to social work programme?
Yes, we would. I think we would. I'd like Annalise, our principal social worker, to comment on that. Annalise, could you answer this question?
Yep, find my unmute button. And Tineke, please chip in. But yes, absolutely. We are really keen to encourage people who are looking to return to social work. We are keen to think about what opportunities we can offer people in terms of getting the placement opportunities that they might need to be able to re-register, and then how we can support people to move on to into proper posts, really. So yes, please do make contact with us. You can contact me, you can contact Alex, and yeah, we are working with the Return to Social Work programme as well, and developing that practice. It went on hold a little bit because of COVID, so we're just refreshing that, but yeah, absolutely, yes please.
Okay, and we have a question also from Kafue, who asks, how regular is the supervision? And maybe Johnny, you'd like to answer this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Hannah. Well, supervision happens in lots of different ways, actually, but certainly everyone is entitled to a one-to-one supervision at least every month, which allows everyone to be having that check-in with their direct line manager, covering sort of their personal issues, but also sort of professional demands as well. Now there's opportunity for creativity as well. So the new model will be looking to work on a group-based supervision model where we will get together with our adult-facing practitioners and look at all those professionals who are engaged with that family and the children and young people to review and do the supervision together as a group. So again, that will happen on a monthly basis as well. So, but we adapt it to meet the needs of the worker as well. So if it works for somebody to meet more often, then absolutely that is available for people. We want people to feel supported, and we want people to feel safe in their practice. So for some people that might mean fortnightly supervision, and certainly that's the case for returning social workers and people on our ASYE programme, until people feel more comfortable moving to that more monthly type supervision. But yeah, we like to get to know people as individuals and see what's going to work best for them. But certainly the monthly and fortnightly model is very familiar to Oxford and how we work at the moment.
Yeah. We seem to have a couple of questions asking about social workers that are coming from abroad and living outside the country. And we would be interested in people that are coming here, who are able to come into the country to work and applying once they come here. We have had some international recruitment, but we've closed that for now through the agency route. We would be, though, interested in anybody who's actually living in the UK applying for jobs with us, because we don't have an agency route in for international social workers open at the moment. We have recently closed that for this year. Okay. We also have a question about how many teams we have, and the new Family Solutions Plus service is going to expand the number of teams that we have from 11 to 17. So we're going to have groups of 7 or 8 social workers working to an assistant team manager and a team manager. So there'll be 2 managers for each team, and they'll also be supported by children's practitioners who are unqualified but experienced staff that will help to support interventions with families. And then they will also have their adult access to those adult practitioners as well. So that's kind of how our teams are put together. Do internal staff apply in the same way? Yes, we have open recruitments where people can move between different parts of the department by applying for jobs in exactly the same way as external candidates do as well. Are there any other questions? I'm not sure that I can see them all. Have I missed any questions? Could somebody advise me?
Yeah,
sorry, say that again.
I think there is a new question that's just come in, Hannah, about, hi there, in the new model, what will be different for social workers on a day-to-day basis to allow them?
Yeah, I can see. To allow them to do more direct work with children and families, being able to do more direct work would be great. Okay, is Delia still with us, or would Delia like to answer, or perhaps Johnny? Delia may still be with us. Or she...
Really happy to pick this one up, Hannah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so the new model is really exciting because we have what we're referring to as the adult-facing practitioners, and then the existing role of the social worker or the child practitioner. Now, what's great is that everybody gets to really focus in their area of expertise, and so we see families often for very similar type reasons. So that's influenced who we're recruiting for the adult-facing practitioners. But they will come in our regular supervision, group supervisions, and they will go out and deliver direct interventions to the families. Now, all of that way of working will free the social workers up to really focus on the needs assessments of the families, the direct work with the children, parenting work with the parents, and really sort of coordinating the multi-agency group. But by allowing others to go and do their role of expertise. So where social workers may have spent time kind of completing referral forms or waiting for timescales back from outside external agencies, we have brought the expertise in-house, which has removed a very big layer of waiting time really for families and for practitioners who are really eager to go out and deliver the interventions that we know that they need. So absolutely, direct work and the practical aspect of the social work role is what we're really trying to promote, and we think the new model will really create more space and time for workers to do that.
Okay, thank you. Are there any more questions? Anything else? Just wait a moment to see if anyone else has got a question.
Hannah, there's a question about, it says you talked about reduced caseload. What will the lower caseloads look like?
Oh, okay, sorry, I don't seem to have all the questions on my screen. Yes, so the lower case, so at the moment our caseloads are in excess of 20 children in this part of the service, and sometimes as high as 25 or 26, and we know that that puts a real strain on staff and doesn't enable staff to do the kind of work that they'd like to do. So our target is to bring our caseloads down to around 15 or 16 children. Because we think that's about the optimum level. So in most parts of our service, I don't think we've got social workers saying that they are unable to function or that they're overwhelmed. They think that they're manageable, but we'd like to improve it even further. Give people that reflection time, but also that time to prepare the work that they do with children and families, make it really purposeful. So yeah, 15 or 16 is our target. We probably won't get there on day one. It'll be something we'll work towards. But the more we recruit into our permanent vacancies, the better. Thank you. Is there any other? There's another question that's come in. Specialist disability teams, are they part of the generic teams? We do have specialist disability teams. Of course, children have a very wide range of needs, and there are children, of course, with some disabilities and additional needs in all of our teams, but we do have specialist disabled children's teams for those children who have more severe conditions, that's a fantastic service in Oxfordshire, and we have a range of different aspects of the service for disabled children if there are, if people want to inquire about that, and there may be vacancies in that part of the service as well. Okay, any other questions? Just waiting to see if there's anything more. Please, colleagues, alert me if there's something I can't see on my screen.
No, I think that's everything, Hannah.
Okay. Just give it a moment. Okay. Well, if there are no more questions, we'll close the webinar, and thank you very, very much for your attendance, and I hope that it sparked your interest in our service. We'd be delighted to receive applications from you and welcome you into the family of children's social care in Oxfordshire. So thank you very much. Okay, bye-bye.